Well, my first reaction wasn't professional. It was just, oh, this this is going to hurt my friends, because I worked there for nearly 4 years, and the staff hasn't really changed over, aside from my replacement, and I'm close to them all, and that was I just sort of felt a big lump in the stomach, yeah.
What do you think it's going to mean for the two photographers that remain at the Border Mail?
I think they're going to be busy. I think they could be really run off their feet. They'll be doing anything from the front page to the back page to all the tough jobs in between, the jobs that can't even be considered to be attempted by an enthusiastic reporter with a camera. So they're going to be driving a lot and working really hard.
These days, technology is pretty easy to cart around, whether it's in your phone or whether you have a dedicated SLR digital camera. Journalists are being asked to carry those things around, and all of us in the media are being asked to multitask, as they like to say. Can the photographic area be covered effectively that way, in your view?
There's certainly a possibility of getting a body to a scene that's holding a camera and getting some pixels from an event. The photographic brain that we've all got inside us, it's a muscle, and these photographers, they're athletes in terms of photography, and they can see through the obvious and find the interesting, and that's, I don't think it's a technology thing that's going to be able to bridge that gap. It's an eye and it's a brain thing, and that's what will be lost.
How do you size up and compose a good news-based photograph?
How would I? For me, it's a heart thing, and it's a listening thing. So you're listening to the subject, you're finding out what is important to them, and a lot of that is involved, listening to the reporter talk to the photographer. And then it's a matter of sort of going with your gut and just feeling where the angle is. I know that sounds really wafty, but that you're dealing with a bit of an art side of things too.
There's some of the thought processes, or heart processes even, that you might go through in composing a photograph. How can you recognise a good photograph that seems to achieve whatever it set out to achieve?
How to recognise one? It's a training thing. You work at it, and a training and a practice thing. So, I had a lot of mentors along the way who looked at my photos and said, look, the photo was actually 2 steps to the right. It's just a training. It's an experience. It's an experience thing that photographers practice and learn.
What's the best piece of advice you think you've been given, even a memorable piece of advice that you've been given over the years?
I would say, overall, it is just to keep working at your photography. If you and push a bit past that comfort zone. So keep taking a lot of photos, but keep taking a lot of photos that are a bit different and new to you. Eventually, the thing that makes a photographer is they take pictures more than anybody else, and they're putting in thousands of hours in their career into the job, and it's hard work and a little bit of creativity.
Speaking to Ben Eyles on ABC Goulburn Murray, former Fairfax photographer, these days teaches at Wodonga TAFE. Ben, when you're teaching the next generation, as it were, of photographers, what do you think about the future of news photography?
The future of news photography is a tough one, and I think it runs a little bit outside of the stream of photography as a whole. Photography, in my mind, is booming, and there's more ways to take photos. Your cameras can do more things. It's easier to get creative with cameras now, and they're more accessible. And so that means, for us at TAFE, student numbers are up, and that's great. News photography has always been a hard one because the job turnover traditionally is really slow, because a lot of people love their job and they don't want to give it up and they don't want to move away from their area. But we've got several students recently who have graduated and then gotten jobs in news photography. It's there, but often the only way to get into it is to want it a lot and work really hard at building your relationships and to get in there.
I've heard this comment a lot over the last week or so. Photographers at your local newspaper essentially capture the pictorial history of a community. What are your thoughts there?
Absolutely. I think the staff at the paper are the most important people when it comes to recording, not only recording where we've been, but also predicting about where we're going. And the visual history to me is vital. And I've got a personally, I'm biased towards it. I think looking at a bunch of photos over time at the development of this area is going to give you a better understanding for Albury-Wodonga today than just reading it in text.
On social media, there's a page and a Twitter campaign entitled Save Our Snappers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the power of the people will make a difference in this instance?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to be optimistic, and I think people power can make a difference. I'm thinking that this process that's going on at the minute over at the border is a negotiation process, and that's where I'm hoping it'll be. So we're starting here, and then there'll be a couple of offers made, and then we'll line up at somewhere where there's more jobs around.
We'll see how it progresses from here. Interesting just to hear about your work and thoughts in the world of photography. Ben Eyles, thank you very much for speaking to us.
No problems. Thank you.